Alright, so we have some major updates on Sony's PlayStation 5 and what they think about Xbox buying Activision Blizzard. This is coming straight from a lot of those FTC and European commissions, and the one that came out the most with 20 regulatory commissions is Brazil, who is very transparent about what every company is saying about this transaction. This has to do with anti-competitive laws and a bunch of stuff, so let's get into why Sony is afraid of this Xbox Activision Blizzard deal. Let's get into all of it. Alright, so you know the drill. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you want to be notified on future videos, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go the extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. All the support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so I just want to jump right into this because man oh man did the Brazilian government put out a lot of public administrations talking about every single company. I'm talking Sony, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, Bandai Namco, and a bunch of other ones like Riot Games, Apple, Google, Amazon, all talking about what this deal means for Xbox and Activision Blizzard, not to mention the whole gaming market in general. There's a lot of information here, so I want to get into all of it. This is all about anti-competitive laws and all of that. So, as you can tell, Google, Amazon, Apple, and all of them are not that against this transaction or this buyout of ABK. Now, Riot Games even talks about having competitors, like Call of Duty has competitors with Battlefield, Apex, Counter-Strike, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege. They bring up all these competitors, and not to mention they even bring up Bejeweled and Candy Crush and Rift and all these other mobile games that compete with the games that Activision Blizzard has. And if you look at MMOs, WoW has competitors like Final Fantasy, Lost Ark. So all these companies are looking at it from a very great perspective. They're talking about all games, especially the big franchises that Activision Blizzard has, actually having competition. They bring up, again, games like Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online, and a bunch of other games that Activision Blizzard and Microsoft, in turn, are going to be competing with. It shows that there isn't a monopoly when you look at franchises. Now, when you look at all these people, like, Meta, Google, Amazon, Riot Games, Apple, all these big ones, even Warner Brothers and Ubisoft, they bring up those competitors because they think that this deal doesn't affect the greater scale scheme of what the market is in a monopoly standpoint. Yet, when you look at Sony, it is a far different story. They have a bunch of information there and they talk about a lot of the perspective and what it can do to the console. Here's what the answer was for Sony, because I'm going to try to go into all of it and then break it down for you. Here's what Sony said. They say that from a development/publication perspective, game development typically involves an early stage that is neutral in relation to the platform, before the game is adopted for one or more specific platforms. They believe that all games compete for engagement of the player. Players choose their gaming platform based on pricing, technical features, and available game types. The available content is the main factor for the player to choose a platform. They say that there are few barriers to entry in game development and publishing for PC, that only one developer could create an indie game and distribute it online. But creating a high-end AAA game like Activision's Call of Duty requires a budget of hundreds of millions of dollars and thousands of employees. They say that apart from Activision, there are few developers/publishers capable of producing AAA games such as EA's FIFA, Take-Two/Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto, and Epic Games' Fortnite. These games tend to be long-running franchises with big budgets, multi-year development cycles, and very supportive followers. Okay, so before we get into all the big meat and potatoes, let's break that down first. Now, what they're basically saying is that every single game that comes out competes for everyone's attention, which, of course, that's true. Every game that comes out wants to get as many people as possible. When you look at the game that just dropped like Multiverses, they're competing with people that like fighting platformer games, like Smash Brothers or Mortal Kombat or whatever the game is. They are trying to get people to come into that and that audience to go into their game so they can get user engagement. Now, when they're talking about indie developers, again, they're saying that a couple people can make a game, or 10 to 20 people can make a small indie game, put it out on Steam or put it out on any platform like ID at Xbox, and bam, they can find success there. But when it comes to AAA games, high-end AAA games, they say that's a little harder. They basically admit that it takes a lot of people, a lot of man hours, and hundreds of millions of dollars to make a game like Activision's Call of Duty or the big AAA games that they talk about. And they only say that a few developers like EA, Take-Two can make these big genre-defining games like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, which, if you look at everything, might be true, but also not really. Because if you look at small games like Rocket League, it was a pretty good developer that made it, and it became a small little indie game that came out, and then it blew up. It grew into something bigger than anyone thought, and it became a very profitable game that Epic, or, the people that have the Epic Game Store, bought. That's the whole point, is that anybody can get anything, and that's why gaming is so valuable, and that's why indie developers try to get their game out as soon as possible, but on the platforms and to the audience that's right for them. Which brings us to what Sony thinks about Call of Duty. Here's what it is said. Despite all of that, Sony believes that none of these developers could create a franchise to rival Activision's Call of Duty, which stands out as a gaming category on its own. That's why they believe that Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console. In fact, their network of loyal users is so ingrained that even if a competitor had the budget to develop a similar product, it would not be able to create a rival. They talk about the time, money, number of employees, millions of followers, sales, and other data points related to Call of Duty to show how it's a very unique franchise that cannot be replaced. Wow. All right, I'm going to break that all down. So basically what they're saying is, even if they own somebody like, let's say, Bungie, who has Destiny, and it's one of the biggest games in the history of the generation last year, and it's continuing to have millions of people play it every month, they're even saying that game can't compete with what Call of Duty is doing. And I get that. You know why? Because Call of Duty does sell consoles. Wherever your friends are, that's where you're going to buy your console. So if your friends are even on PC, you're going to go buy a PC because you want to play with them. Even if you get a budget PC, you're still able to play with them. Now, if your friends buy, let's say, a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4, you're going to go buy it there so you can play there. It's why Grand Theft Auto was so successful on the PlayStation, because so many people at a certain age and demographic went and bought the console and then bought Grand Theft Auto, and all their friends did. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty, year in and year out, is the best-selling game in gaming. I know a lot of people talk crap about it. I know a lot of people don't like that franchise, but overall, you cannot deny the sales numbers. It sells out, it has a lot of content, and people love playing on it. Not to mention Warzone, which is a free-to-play battleground. Again, a lot of people go there. They buy it. So yeah, what Sony is saying is true. Call of Duty does define where people are going to play because they're going to follow where their friends are. Now, if it goes into a subscription service, say like Game Pass, then yeah, people are going to flock to that because they don't have to drop $70 every single year to get that game. Not to mention get all the updates and all that and all the DLC. It doesn't matter because they're going to choose a console that gives them the best price. And that's what they're worried about. And you know what? They bring up that subscription fee. They agree that subscription services compete with games purchased for a one-time fee, but they think that the lowest upfront cost of subscription services could be anti-competitive in relation to publishers who recoup the significant investment in games by selling them for an upfront fee. They also think that this could harm consumers by reducing the quality of the games. Alright, I don't think this is actually something that Sony should worry about, because you know what? You're building a service just like Game Pass. We see it. You're bringing games like Shadow Warrior 3 day and date into the service. You're trying to drop other games in there day and date, and you're trying to lock deals down. Not to mention, you money had a bunch of games, so isn't that going to hurt development if you just play it for one platform and that's it? So I don't know. I think that this is kind of a weird thing because Forza Horizon 5 is one of the best games and one of the most polished games that's come out. Halo, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but the campaign was about 20 to 25 hours long. They had multiplayer that was for free. And you look at all the other games like Age of Empires that dropped into Game Pass, and I have to say, the quality didn't regress. The quality didn't go down, and I actually enjoyed those games a lot. Now, if you look at Back 4 Blood and a bunch of other games that are in there, you could tell that the quality was there. Sniper Elite 5 was on Game Pass. Did that quality go down? No, it was the best Sniper Elite I've ever played, and I played it for like 30 to 40 hours. Again, it's not about the quality, it's about that they are fearful that they can't compete because they don't have the infrastructure yet to compete with Xbox Game Pass. But now, let's move on to what Xbox Game Pass is and what they fear. They say that over the past 5 years, Game Pass has grown to capture approximately 60 to 70% of the global subscription service market. That market share is even greater in Brazil, where Game Pass represents approximately 70 to 80% of the PC subscription services market. They believe that it would take several years for a competitor, even with substantial investments, to create a rival effective for Game Pass. Call of Duty represents an important revenue stream for the PlayStation. They provided data, but it's redacted, and it's one of SIE's biggest sources of revenue from third parties. And there you have it. Yes, We know that Sony understands that they can't compete with what Game Pass is doing. Until they start bringing out a bunch of games every single year, which you know what, they have been, and they put those in the subscription service, it is not going to compete with what Game Pass is doing. I mean, Game Pass is over 25 million subscribers. That does not include Xbox Live. Xbox Live is around, I think, 50 million subscribers or maybe 40 million. I'm not too sure, but that is a lot of people playing on one platform. And then if you look at them expanding to PC, which they talk about right there with PC subscription service market, like I've said, Xbox is concentrating on PC, and they're going to be doing that for a very long time. And that's what Sony's worried about, is because Sony does want to go into the PC market, and of course they're a part of the console market, they're one of the leaders, so that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that Xbox is going to get a massive, and I mean massive head start on PC, which they already do, and Call of Duty is going to help catalyst them towards that. And not to mention, help with the console. And of course it's going to help with Xbox console. The reason why Activision Blizzard and Microsoft are doing this deal is one, Activision Blizzard wanted to sell, and two, Xbox wants to sell Xbox products. That is the whole point. And PlayStation is worried because they do rely, no matter what anyone says, on that Call of Duty money from the third party. That 30% they get for every person that buys that game on that platform. So yeah, this is all about money. This is not about anti-competitive stuff. This is not about this and that. As you can tell, Warner Brothers, Ubisoft, and all those other games brought up games that were competing with each and every franchise that Activision Blizzard has, while Sony ignored all of those franchises and basically said no game, not one, can create something that can compete with Call of Duty, even though there are games like Grand Theft Auto, there are games like Fortnite, and there are other shooters like Apex Legends that are directly competing with Call of Duty. So Sony's trying to make this doom and gloom thing, trying to scare things away and trying to get this deal to be redacted because they understand that if Call of Duty, by some happenstance, does become exclusive, it is going to be a monster hit on them because they're going to lose a lot of money, and that game is going to sell a lot, and I mean a lot of Xboxes and PCs and subscriptions for Microsoft, because we all know that each and every year Call of Duty is the biggest game to come out every year, at least the biggest game in sales. And that's what's going to happen if this deal goes through. Now, there are several months left before we see this deal go through, maybe even into next year. But overall, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see the competition ramp up. And if it does go through, Sony, you better find a game that you better love, and you better get a studio like Bungie to make a first-person shooter to compete with it, because that's what this is. It's all competition. It's why EA has Battlefield. It's why EA has Apex Legends, and it's why there's all these other first-person shooters like Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six Siege that other publishers are competing with Call of Duty with. So get used to it. You're going to have to do the same thing as a mass publisher. But let me know what you think about this. Are you surprised that Sony made it sound so doom and gloom? Do you think Xbox's deal with ABK is actually going to go through? Can you see that every franchise that Activision Blizzard and Microsoft owns that has competitors like Battlefield and all of them across other publishers? Or do you think that Sony is fear-mongering and saying basically there's no competitor for any of these franchises? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been jumping into a lot of Batman Arkham Knight, and I have to say, I'm enjoying it. But man, oh man, did one game just take my attention away completely. The Multiverses game. I am playing this game non-stop. I think I played it all weekend. I'm going to be buying the Battle Pass. I'm going to jump into this game a lot. I love the 2v2 aspect. I love the 1v1 aspect. I love the way it feels. It just feels and plays great on both the Xbox and the PC, and it's cross-play, cross-platform, and cross-progression across all those platforms. So it is a well-run game. It's in the open beta right now. They're going to have a bunch of other fighters or characters join the game as the years go on, and trust me, I'm thinking about buying the Founders Pack that's like $100. That's how much I'm enjoying this game. I can't stop playing it. I've been jumping into it all the time, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but I've said it for the longest time. The biggest franchise that Nintendo has that I've always wanted is Super Smash Bros. And man, this competes with Super Smash Bros. On another level with characters I actually love, like Batman, Superman, Harry Potter, all these other characters that WB has, not to mention Lord of the Rings characters and Game of Thrones characters. Everybody's in there. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what other characters they bring in there because it is such a good game. I recommend everybody check it out. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox, your PS5, or are you on your PC playing something? Let me know down below, because that's what we're here for. It's to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.